Hey, everybody, it's your old friend P.A. Turner, executive producer and host of your Break It Down show. Man, we've had a great week, and it's been a great year, challenging year for sure, but we're getting to the end of it. We're getting the end of COVID, hopefully, with the vaccinations and just continued diligence by everybody. Hopefully, we're getting to the spot where we can start to hopefully get out and get on the road. I can get on the road. Musicians can get on the road. We can go back and see fine arts. You guys know I love opera and symphony and all that stuff. Anyhow, I just it's been good. And I've been reflecting back because of Thanksgiving and coming up in the holiday season and trying to get myself into that holiday spirit. I just wanted to say to all of you, thank you. I'm just mostly thankful for all of you and the opportunity to continue to do the show. It's such a blessing. It's such a wonderful thing. If you don't know, I don't script these opens out. Maybe that drives y'all crazy, but I would rather come from the heart with where I'm feeling that day and where I'm at. Our guest today is Michale Graves. If you don't know, he's been on the show before. He used to be the lead singer from the Misfits. He's written, I think, 18 albums worth of music now, and all the dude does is tour. He's rock and roll as hell, by the way. You try to find him on social media, he'll get kicked off of any platform. He doesn't give a damn. He's a man of faith. He's proud about it. He's rock and roll about it, and he drives people crazy a little bit, but he's also a brilliant musician. And I love to get his insight because, you know, we collect perspectives around here, and I think his is a valuable one, and we have an opportunity to hear from him and what life is like on the road, and he's figured out a way to safely perform in the COVID environment, and it's not pretty. It's hard work, and I think you guys will appreciate that. We got a couple of really outstanding shows coming up tomorrow. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this is going to be a great week. Matt Brainerd, who did a bunch of research on the elections, is going to come in and talk about black and white evidence. No like theories, no krakens. Black and white evidence is what he sees what's going on. I can't wait to ask him the really hard questions. And you guys hopefully know that I'll do that. Friday, John Davidson, you know, from That's Incredible, from $10,000 Pyramid, from The Love Boat, from, what did he not do? Such an iconic dude. I know that you guys will absolutely love hearing from him. And he's also a musician. He's got, I think, 12 records to his name. And by the way, in case I didn't say it, Rob Paulson, who is a voiceover actor from Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, you know, or Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons. Actually, I think Animaniacs too. Anyhow, he's got a bunch of projects going on. Think about that. We're going to close this week out so strong. We're going to have these incredible, talented people coming on. And also, by the way, Chris Merrick Hughes, the guy's responsible for Tears for Fears. He was in Adam and the Ants, and then Adam Ant. He produced their music for them. This is a great week and a chance for us all to really just, man, look at the Break It Down show. I mean, look at these next 4 shows. You know, Matt Brainerd was on Lou Dobbs last night. He'll be on Tim Pool tomorrow, and then he'll be on the Break It Down show on Thursday. That's the kind of company we're keeping. And if you don't know who John Davidson is, just look up John Davidson. You'll be like, that guy? No shit. I remember that guy. He's incredible. He used to host Hollywood Squares. Yeah. So anyhow, great week, great month, great year. We're going to round it up, bring it home. I'm trying to be positive because it's too easy to be negative, and I appreciate you guys. I love all of you guys. Look for more changes coming from the Break It Down show. As fast as I can get these things done and out, I'm cranking them out. So I'm on it. You guys stay with me. Let me know what you think. Talk to me, Pete, at breakitdownshow.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, enough about that. Hey, check out Michale Graves.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hey, this is Michale Graves, and you're watching The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Michale is a hardworking man. Every time I've talked to him, at least for the show, he's always on the road going somewhere. If you go to his website, and I'll put that in the links here in a second, you will see how busy he has been since he was fronting the Misfits. You don't go easy, man. You get all of it out of life.
I do. Our time here on the planet is short, and so I try to get the most out of it. I love working hard. I love being a music man, and I especially love being out on the road and performing live.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Indiana, We just crossed the border of Indiana about 15, 20 minutes ago, coming from Kentucky.
Gotcha. Kentucky, yes. You're on the road during a time of COVID, and I know you are a rambling road music man. You got to do it. But what about the health risks? I mean, obviously, I did a cross-country California to Carolina and back road trip. You have to live your life, but you also, have to be careful. So how are you dealing with all of that?
Well, I mean, obviously, the shows that are on this tour are mostly private shows. So I've been dealing with private individuals literally in their own homes. I go literally to their houses. And so obviously if somebody's sick, just like anything else, we're a little bit more sensitive to it. If an individual is sick or there's somebody that's been sick in the household, we obviously tell them, you got to let us know, and we'll take it from there. But for me, we've been working on this tour for about a month and a half. And for me, knowing that I was going to be out on the road again, what I do anytime I go out on the road is I take a little bit more vitamin C. I stay on my magnesium. I take my zinc. And I give my body as much opportunity to, I build up my immune system so that I can be healthy. Everybody should be doing that, whether you're going on tour or not. I stay as healthy as I possibly can. I feel strong. I feel good. Again, I've been touring for 25 years, and I know how to deal with illness on the road. And I know right now it's a little bit more exacerbated, but I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm healthy, and things are good.
Yeah, don't forget the vitamin D, first of all, because
vitamin D, right?
Yeah. We don't get enough sunshine, that's for sure.
I have a whole bag of supplements, man. I'm a supplement guy.
All right.
And I don't do a lot of eating out. We don't eat a lot of fast food or, I stick to the basics, and I really feed my body well. I supplement with my iodine and my multivitamins and my trace elements and minerals. I go full bore on my health.
That's awesome. That speaks to your longevity. When you're doing private shows, what are the sizes of the show? I mean, tell us about these private shows. Are you attracting pretty good sized crowds? Are people bringing folks in? What's going on?
A lot of them, the first show that we played, it was just a man and his wife. It was literally two people. And I come into their home and we hang out, we talk. I play right in their living room. We put together packages that include a guitar. So I have a guitar that I play for these people. And then after we're done, I do all sorts of original artwork on it. We give them t-shirts and autographs and pictures. And it's a very, very personal thing. And the reason that we've done that is, one, obviously because of the COVID situation and the compliance issues that venues have to go through, whether they're open or, a lot of the places aren't even open. But the challenge of compliance is difficult. A lot of places just will not allow live music. That, and in the past couple of months, I've run into some cancel culture. So I also have the challenge of dealing with the online mobs, if you will. When I book a show at a physical location, and it's happened almost half a dozen times in the past couple of months, where these shows will go up, it'll be announced that I'm coming, and then the online mob shows up and starts to literally terrify the owners by threatening violence against them, by threatening property destruction, physical threats against myself and my partner, my manager. So that forced us into what we're doing now is saying, all right, well, we want to get out on the road. We want to reach the people that want to hear my music and, want to have that experience that we're offering. And so we booked a month-long tour, mostly of private shows. I'm literally going house to house across the country.
That sounds awesome.
What does a private Michale Graves show cost?
Well, again, it depends. Our scale is kind of sliding, but again, for what we offer, I show up, hang out on the upper end of the scale. I bring you an acoustic guitar and I play it, and I, like I said,
and leave it behind with the artwork.
Yeah, it's the same as a venue show. Between $800 and $1,200, you get Michale Graves and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm working on a documentary too, so it includes production credit on the new album, on the documentary. I have a podcast. We stream live on the fan page on Facebook, and we have the people that participate in the private shows on to talk about their experience. Again, you get shirts, you get again, any physical show that we have, we tell the people we'll put you on the guest list if you want to come out.
That is an incredible bargain for that kind of experience and access. I mean, it reminds me of, do you guys remember the end of Fast Times at Ridgemont High where it said
Yes.
Jeff Spicoli saved Brooke Shields and hired Van Halen to play his birthday party? You can have Michael Graves come to your fucking house. Come on.
Yeah.
And he leaves you a guitar.
We have dinner. We eat dinner with people. They cook us dinner and we hang out and we eat. It's amazing.
That's spectacular.
Play with the dog.
Yeah. Why did you work so hard, man? I mean, like, you don't have to do all of that. You could do other things. You could hole up in your studio and just make music, but you insist on doing this. And don't just say you love hard work. What compels you to do this?
Pete, especially now, the way that the past couple of months has affected people, the stories that I hear from individuals are incredible. Some of them are profound. I need to reach people. I need to reach people. I love going to hear the stories about other people's lives. It's a blessing to be able to hear them express how my music has affected them. It's such an enlightening, positive experience for everybody that takes part in something like this. They feel that they are contributing to my overall success and what I'm trying to bring to the world. And that's positivity, it's confidence, happiness, and joy. And, a lot of people are going through some very, very difficult things. And for the few hours that I get to spend with these people, we hug and we share stories, and it's just an amazing thing. And I feel compelled to continue to do that. I just love to reach people on that level. And then especially when I play, I'm very sensitive to energy. And when I play, I can feel the collective energy of these folks in such a profound way. And it's just an amazing thing. And so all of that then transfers over to when I get back home and I become a dad and I'm with my children and I can articulate my life to them and what I'm doing. They ask me, well, Daddy, what are you doing? And I tell them about these adventures, these journeys that I have and the people that I've met. And I know that one day when I go to be with the Lord, that people will look back and know that I lived my life, not to be famous, not to make tons of money and have nice cars. And, I reject those worldly things. It's much more about the spirit and finding love and helping people get through whatever they need to get through.
How exactly do fans book one of these shows, man? This is terrific.
You can get in touch with me. Just get in touch with us or my manager, Art, A-R-T, at officialmichaelgraves.com.
Okay.
Art at officialmichaelgraves.com. And Art, who's driving the car right now, we'll get in touch. We'll get in touch with you and we'll figure it out.
Fantastic.
Is that Art at official Mike Graves? Is that right?
Michale Graves.
Michael Graves. Okay. The idea of doing this is just fantastic. And one of the things that Scott and I did this ride, Scott got on his Harley and with no fairing, by the way, and just headed east out to South Carolina. And I followed him in my pickup truck as the support vehicle, and it, as you know, driving across country, it's fun, but it ain't easy, especially for the guy on the motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we got back was incredible. I didn't see hate. I didn't see misery. I saw people that were excited to support veterans, people that weren't afraid to come outside and have fellowship with one another. I got to meet so many wonderful people. I got to experience our country in the best way possible by actually being out and in it. And it wasn't about race. It wasn't about any of that stuff. It was just people all invested in going forward on this problem of veteran suicide. And I defy anybody to go on the road, experience America, and come back pissed off. I don't know that it's possible to do that.
I agree with you. As I said before, what we're going through now, I was speaking to an individual yesterday who's actually a veteran that now in the past couple of months was dealing with depression and alcoholism. And before COVID was doing real well. And then once the lockdowns hit, he kind of fell off the wagon, if you will. So yeah, there's a lot of people hurting out there for a lot of different reasons. And again, like you said, veterans and the rate of suicide is absolutely unacceptable. And it's something that I work for and towards to help. And yeah, this country is amazing. And I love as well when I get to hang out with these people that I'm having these experiences with, to give them the report exactly what you just reported, that outside your house and all over the place are good people, brown, red, black, green, pink.
Doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. There's love and there's fellowship all over.
We met a guy who was driving a flatbed.
I'm trying to be the ambassador for them.
Yeah. We met a guy who was driving a flatbed truck, big old huge flatbed, and he had segments of the border wall. And so we were like, well, we got to talk to you. He was getting gas. We were getting gas. And he's like, yeah, I'm from, and I don't remember exactly, but he was from Nicaragua or somewhere in Central America. And he's like, I love this country. I'm driving. I'm working. I'm making money. I can go out and do what I want to do. We were like, well, yeah, but you're carrying pieces of the wall. He's like, I don't care about that. I care about having my life, my freedom, my ability to do these things. And he was all for it, and that's just one of 500 stories of just incredible people doing things. And they've all got problems, but when you get out there and experience people, it's hard to see the negativity that you're shown every day on the internet and on TV. Not that it doesn't exist, but it's more in scale with what reality is.
It's the culture that is bred by music and entertainment. The mainstream music and entertainment industry is a pipeline of sewage that just flows into the hearts and minds of young people, especially for years and years and years now. And young people, they look to celebrity, they look to these people for cues on how to see the world, especially since religion, since God has really been taken out of our culture, especially with young people. Again, and the education is much more coming from what they hear from celebrities and musicians, which causes an emptiness in young people, and so they focus on worldly things, right? They focus on, oh, I need these sneakers, I need this new device, I need this big beautiful house, or I can't be happy. Why aren't I happy? I need all of these things, and when they lose that fellowship with God, mind, body, spirit, when their spirit loses that fellowship with God, it's demonstrable over time. You look back in ancient history, the same thing's been going on. Societies come apart, and civilizations come apart, individuals come apart, and these young people especially are looking to fill that hole. They're looking to fill that void inside them. And when they get lost like that, what comes out is rage. And you see it. You literally see it on the streets of America. It's a terrible thing, but being combated by people like me doing things like I'm doing.
Yeah. What are you singing about nowadays? How have your philosophies influenced your latest work?
Again, I try not to, when I'm writing, to really, point directly at something. I don't want to say that I haven't changed, because everybody changes, but I'm writing about and emoting about the same things now that I did in the Misfits. Love conquers all. And I find that when I write about what feel in my heart and my soul, whether it's the things that make me strong, the things that make me weak, the things that I'm angry about, when I'm just honest with myself and I'm honest with my music and I'm honest with my art, it seems that it resonates with folks. It resonates with people. I really just continue to focus on that. Yeah.
I mean, honesty always does work. It connects people, but it really is interesting to me how much you're, kind of a soldier for goodness and love and the truth. I mean, let's face it, as we mature, we learn new things and we evolve, and hopefully our audience can evolve with us. And I think that in your case, because you've been on the road for 25 years, your audience it can't help but evolve, because we go through different life experiences. We go through different changes. Most of your audience from 25 years ago now has adult children, stuff like that. we all are receiving the message a little differently as well, and sort of going a little deeper. Because back then, hey, we just wanted to rock out and get shakes and stuff like that. And now, there's a little more to it. So I'm glad to hear that you're out there, man.
And, for example, I'm on my way to, it's called Mission Teens. I'm working with an organization called Mission Teens, and they are a non-denominational group that preaches the word of God, and they're houses that are set up all across the country that help folks with life binding problems, a lot of alcoholism, drug addiction, whatever is holding people back and causing them to be sick. And so I go to these places and I play my music, and I meet these folks and I talk to them and give them strength and give them hope. I often tell the story. I took a break from music for a little while, and I became an EMT. And one day I responded to a call, and all along the way, it was a time of my life. I was lost. I wanted to have children, and I wanted to take care of, I wanted to have nice things, and music is a difficult business to be in if you want things like that. So I went off. I became an EMT. I started practicing that. And one day I responded to a call. A young man had stepped in front of a train on his way home, right up the street from my house. And all along the way, up to that, I'm praying, God, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to be doing in life? I'm out on the road. I'm not making any money. I'm unhappy. I'm just... So I respond to this call. I'm in the back of the ambulance with this man who has a wife, who has kids, who, as I was the first medic on scene, and I was talking to him. He just kept on saying, I just had a bad day, man. I just had a bad day. And in the back of that ambulance, it hit me that day that, really God spoke to me and said, Michael, you got to get to these people before they step in front of that train. That's why I gave you these gifts. That's why you can sing. That's why you can play. You got to get to these people before they get to that train. And after I transferred that man to the hospital's possession, if you will, I went home and I rededicated myself to music. It really, it was a new beginning for me all those years ago. And that is basically, that's my life. I want to get to people before they step in front of the train and tell them it's all right. We can get through this. I'm here for you.
Fantastic. That's terrific.
Those lessons are found on the road. Again, this goes back to that hard work on the road principle. As a guy that gets way too many phone calls about the veteran that killed himself, when they're at the end of the rope, it's not that it's too late. It's just, why the hell did we wait so long? Let's get that person and let's get them their arms wrapped around us in fellowship and take care of them well before the end of the rope. Let's solve those small problems,
right,
so that they start to get some small wins instead of having to save someone as they let go of the rope. And it's like, that's not how you do it. You have to go earlier. You have to do the hard work. You have to be on the road.
Yes.
You have to go engage people. Even when you don't want to do it, Scott and I were under a overpass. It's 100 and too much outside. And we're just like, it's hard, but it was a great kind of hard, because we're on the road,
yes,
we're making a difference, all those things. You're in Indiana, right? Headed to somewhere from there.
Yeah. I'm headed to the Mission Teens house in Brazil, Indiana.
Yeah. Wow. How did you get hooked up with the Mission Teens?
When I was in the Misfits, we came across a young man who literally was living on the streets. We took him in, and his name was Michael. And Michael and I became friends, and Michael became friends with Jerry only. And Jerry is Catholic. And Michael and I used to hang out and have conversations. And I've always been a believer. And one day I started to talk to him about Job. And it clicked with him, and something clicked inside him. And Michael went away and found Mission Teens and found God, and has been working with that organization ever since. And I didn't know it. And Michael and I reconnected just a couple of months ago. And Michael and I reconnected a couple of months ago. and he was telling me about his work with mission teens and what he does, and he preaches and runs the organization in New Jersey, and so we reconnected, and I said, I would love to get involved with, somehow, and come and visit. And one of the first dreams I had in my heart was to be a preacher, and then that it changed when I was about 11 or 12 into this music man thing. So it was it was an amazing reconnection, if you will. And that's how I hooked up with them, my friend Michael.
That's awesome.
But you're still a preacher. I mean, Johnny Cash was on the road his whole life, and that's a preaching man.
That's what they keep telling me. It's amazing that you say that. When I talk to people, some people that are close to me, and they say, you never did give that dream up, because you've been doing that. And it was an amazing revelation to me. It's amazing that you said that.
I hope more organizations like Mission Teens find you and keep you busy. We have a friend named Jesse Manabusan who's out here in Alameda, California. And he's a singer-songwriter, and he always stays busy just with youth groups and spreading the word through youth groups. And so, I mean, that's such a great place to connect with numbers of teens. And I hope that they're gathering and able to gather safely, and that more of them get a hold of you.
I hope so too, especially said to a younger audience that, when I talk to the young audience, and I say in a lot of culture, you get the lamb side of Jesus. You say Jesus to these people, and they're like, but they don't get the lion part. And so when you put me in front of an audience like that, and the background that I have, I'm this punk rocker, I'm this badass dude. I really am. But I'm able to really channel in and talk about spirituality and doing good things and being healthy, both, mind, body, spirit, and living your best life and getting through the tough times and helping people, giving them the tools to be able to push through. Again, like I said, especially now, culture needs people like us to be doing things like that.
I got to run out to a previous engagement, but before I jump off, I just wanted to say thank you so much, man. I love what you're doing. I'm really glad.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
brother.
John just found his way back to the drums recently after a multi-decade absence.
Yeah.
And his light has lit up. You can see it in his face right now as he's leaving. He got back behind that kid. And it's however you care for the soul, it's part of your triad. Whether you're a person of faith, you do whatever it is, we all have to care for the spirit, the soul. We have to. There's no way around it. And so whether you use the drums, the word, whatever it is. Yeah. And I would also add this too. When you brought up Job, you don't have to be religious to pull lessons out of what the book of Job talks about. It really is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, especially young people, they have this notion that if you know Jesus and you love God, that you have to, all of a sudden your life changes, and you have to live in this bubble, and you have to go to church on Sunday and Wednesday, and you have to do this, you have to do that. And that's not it. That's not it. Being a Christian, I'm born again. That's not the way it goes. Like I said, I'm still cool. I'm a badass dude. You hang out with me, we have fun. So that's one of the things I really key on is explaining those sort of things, that indeed there's parts of your life that you need to give up, that you eventually can and will. Yeah, sometimes just sitting, taking the phones away from young people, taking them away from the computers, and having them sit quietly for an hour next to a stream makes profound changes in people.
Yeah, I totally agree. Our bodies aren't designed to be sedentary. They're 100-year-long perpetual motion machines, and we love water. So if you don't feel good, go get around other people and start helping. And just
walking through the forest. Yeah, walking through the forest, walking through a field. I was working with an individual doing equine therapy, which especially for veterans, there's Ronald Reagan said there's something about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. Yeah. And it's true when you get people around animals, again, especially horses. I have a profound love for horses. It makes incredible change on the inside. You're able to connect to something that you can't really see. You can't just conjure it and say, here, you see, here it is. And it's a magical, incredible thing to see. And I feed off that energy.
We had Chris Thomas King on the show the other day, and he, during COVID time, kind of holed up. He didn't have an album ready to go, but he felt compelled to speak about George Floyd. And one of the things I love about the show is that we get to have academics talk about these social problems. I get to have guys like you and Chris, who are artists, who come at this from different angles, because we need these angles. Maybe your angle is not my angle, but maybe the next guy's angle is my angle. How do you use your art to make sure that you're keeping open to perspective and, being a funnel rather than, a silo?
I think by speaking to people, by talking to people and getting their opinions and getting their perspectives and learning about how they see the world, and then internalizing that, and then once again reassessing where I'm at in the world, and my perspectives on things. I'm constantly checking myself, but again, just taking in as much information and not just keyholing myself and just saying whatever's in my head, that's it. Again, I'm blessed. I get to meet a lot of people and hear a lot of different opinions. And so I get the 360 perspective and of a lot of things. That's how I do it. You have to have, you can't go into a conversation with somebody or have a debate with somebody going into it with the mindset that I'm just going to dominate this person or I'm just going to dominate this, because you never reach that next level of understanding. And that's what knowledge is constantly putting it through that filter. And so it's very, very healthy to have conversations and keep an open mind and listen and learn. I always try to constantly be learning. Always learning.
What does that mean? Like, how do you fill your head with new stuff? What are you learning about?
Well, again, you see what's happening in the world, whether it's about COVID or the effects of that, or what's happened on the streets of the unrest in America. Again, I come from a punk rock background, so the Antifa movement, the BLM movement, is something that, especially the Antifa movement, because Antifa really grew out of American punk rock for years and years and years. And so again, continue to be plugged into that. I speak to people on the other side of the fence, on the Antifa side of the fence, as well as, I do my work with myself and the other individuals that I do work with to bring peace to the streets and to bring understanding and recognition, and again, doing things like this, getting out on the road and speaking to people and meeting people and putting myself out there, doing shows like this and speaking to you, to find other people that might not know who Michale Graves is and what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, and just asking questions. There's a lot going on in the world.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is when someone's complaining about America, and the 1% or whatever, and I'm like, scope back and look at the planet and tell me what you're going to do about the problems. Like, you want to help someone who's got nothing, all you got to do is go south. Just go south until you find someone that lives in a junkyard. Quit.
Yeah.
There's some real poverty out there, Not that we don't have poverty here and problems here, but we have fresh water in almost every single spot in this nation, on demand, anytime you want.
Yes. I've traveled the world last year. I played in Honduras. We played in San Salvador, places in South America, places right over the border of Texas, not far from America, where they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. But you're right. One of the things that I believe would help a lot of these people, these individuals that feel empty inside. You can just go to your food pantry and spend 10 or 15 minutes and And that even just a brief few moments of selflessness, of helping somebody else out, even just helping an old person walk across the street. If you've never done that before, it's life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing. And it's amazing the way that some of that gook that gets stuck inside your soul begins to melt away when you just reach out to people. Maybe even just a neighbor. You knock on someone's door and say, "Hey, man, you all right? Can I do anything for you? I just wanted to let you know I'm here for you." It's amazingly transformative.
Hey, you're always working on a new album. I know you got something going on just because that's what you do, but let's talk about and this is a question in the blind, but what are you working on right now with music?
One of the reasons that I'm traveling this way is I'm working my way to East Texas to record an EP. I'm also working on a documentary about this journey and about my experience in the past 6 or 7 months. And so I'm going to set up shop in the beginning of November and to record some songs, make some videos, and hopefully get it out by the beginning of January. I hope to release it at least digitally by Christmas, and then I'll have the physical copies ready to go by the new year. And again, we're the booking agency, we're the record company, we're the distribution company, we're the promotion company.
Yep.
We're the drivers and the techs. we're the whole thing.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to being in a studio setting again. I really thrive in those environments, in the laboratory situation. And Arturo and I are we're going to live in the studio for the couple of weeks, and we're going to set up our computers, and we're just going to keep that creative head going 24 hours a day, except for the breaks that I take to go play some golf, because
hey, again,
I
mind,
love
body,
golf.
and spirit, right? Like you got to take care of all.
Right. That's right.
U2 talks a lot of times about God entering the room with music. Do you feel it that way? Is that how your art works?
Yeah, I really do. I especially feel that when I'm with an audience, whether it's a 2-person audience or thousands of people in front of me. I feel that spirit. Like I said, I'm an energy person. I'm very, very sensitive to energy. I can go to places and feel it, and it's the same thing that I feel is evoked in music. Yeah, it's that place beyond the veil. That's why music is magical. When you look into ancient history and Chinese philosophers, and when you see the way that music was looked at and used in ancient times, and how powerful these brilliant minds knew that music was, and how careful they were to use music in society, it really it sheds light on the power of music and the power of art, and how it affects an individual and how it affects societies and people at large.
Hey, this is P.A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions. We create podcasts around here, and if you, your brand, or your company want to figure out how to do a podcast, just talk to me. I'll give you the advice on the right gear, the best plan, and show you how to take a podcast that makes sense for you, that's sustainable, that's scalable, and fun. Hit me up at pete@breakitdownshow.com. Let me help. I want to hear about it.
It really it sheds light on the power of music and the power of art, and how it affects an individual and how it affects societies and people at large. And that's why it's especially important for artists, I believe, to really continue the push to usher in this renaissance of art and music, and continue to change culture, and continue to make war against the current culture.
How would you describe the current culture?
I would describe it what you see in Portland, what you see in Chicago, what you see in Wisconsin. That's the culture. That's the culture. Angry, lost, confused, just lost. It's the children of wrath. Again, you just look at what the celebrities, athletes. Look at what these athletes who have. They have millions and millions of dollars. This wonderful country, this thing that we've all built together, has given these individuals, whether it's music, art, or sports, a huge platform. They're millionaires. They never have to work a day in their life again. And you just the energy that they put out is just negative. It's just negative. It's the whole world is coming against them, and the message that they're putting out drives people to what we see again on the streets. It creates anger. It creates jealousy. It just creates profound darkness in people's lives, and that's what the culture's become. And then all the other people, like myself, who are saying, wait a second, I have 2 daughters. If you think for 1 second that I want my daughter to look up to somebody like Cardi B, you're out of your friggin' mind. And when I say things like that, you have individuals like me who are taken off Twitter, who are taken off Facebook, or I'm taken off YouTube for saying things like that, or aligning myself with organizations that do work, again, suicide prevention, Christian fellowship, on and on. I can't get on Facebook. I have no idea what's happening on Facebook. I've been deplatformed, and on and on. And many people that I know that are working for good are just taken away. And so all that's allowed especially in that space of social media, which is such a huge thing in our world. They create this world, and then they take people like me out of it and put us in these little digital ghettos. So what comes of culture is, again, what you see on the streets of America.
One of the things we learned early on in the show, we learned from Drez from Black Sheep, and you guys are similar in that, you didn't burn so hot that was all you had. You guys just steadily burned and become more wise, better at your craft, all these kind of things. And so when you walk around town, you're going to see a Misfits shirt. Maybe you see a Cardi B shirt, but when that microphone is in front of you and you have the ability to say something that might change someone's life, I'm grateful that you don't talk about a WAP.
Yeah, man. Listen, I have. Those are. What does a man profit if he gains the whole world but loses his soul in the process?
Right.
I say that a lot. So yeah, when you focus on those sort of things, those temporary things, sex, drugs, money, popularity, fame, you get lost. Something happens to you. Something happens to you. And one of the things we have as that is, separates us from animals, and is a gift as humans is free will. And that's the key, is our free will, our ability to make decisions. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to, not look into this. And that's a huge thing. And so it's important to articulate and make the, decipher between the things of the flesh and the things of the spirit, because it's an eternal thing, and that's where music comes in. Here's this thing that you can't touch, you can't see, you can't feel, but it's real. Yeah. And it gets inside you, and you listen to music and it moves you to it animates you, right? You dance and you feel it, and all these things happen to you. And it's a fine example of that spirit, and that spirit is real, and it's very, very important.
Can you give us an example from the road when you experience that whole the validation of your mission? You know, what when you're making a difference. Give us some examples of what that is in real life for you. Some stories from the road.
I get to hear about it. You know, I especially these one-on-one things that I do, and even in the bigger concerts that I've done, I make myself accessible to my fans after the show. After I'm done performing, I stand in front of the merchandise booth, literally until I've met and spoken to everybody that wants to meet and talk to me, or until security kicks us all out. But I talk to people and they tell me, hey man, I've been going through this, you know, a real hard time, and I came across your music. Somebody played me a song and I just felt something inside, and it's such a sad song, but something inside me, you know, felt strong. And so I see examples of it, you know, all the time. We were just at somebody's house in Ohio, somebody that never listened to my type of music, and was talking about being younger and cutting themselves, and you know, and just coming across somebody played my music for her, and it changed her. I played for an individual that was in the past couple of months had lost both their mom and their dad, and wasn't able to say goodbye to them because of what we've been going through with this whole virus thing, and fell into a deep depression and didn't come out of her house, and the husband felt like he was losing her, and it was a tough situation. And so this man got in touch with Arturo and I, and surprised this young lady with a show. We set up, and she came out with some of her friends, and her husband convinced her to come out, and I sat with her, and I played, and halfway through she started singing, and it was an amazing thing. And Arturo just told me that he got a phone call a couple of days ago from this man, and said, I don't know how to thank you guys. It's like she's a totally different person. She's singing. She's back to her old self. Something's happened, and that's the payoff. That's the payoff right there. When things like that happen, praise the Lord.
Yeah, for sure. And again, from all of us out here, thanks for doing what you can to turn that light on a little bit. You know, I think about a guy like Billy Graham, who is, you look at his legacy and what he did and the wake of lives that were changed after going through his revivals, you know, and you don't have to be a person of faith to go, damn, that is an incredible life that he lived, you know, but he did it by being on the road and by one at a time in it.
That's right. Yeah. And Billy Graham always used to say, you know, I'm not a good Christian. He says, it's hard being a Christian. I'm not a good Christian. It's hard. I fail at it every day. It's difficult to do. And I think that's also a misconception about people who believe, is that, you know, you have to have, you're wearing loafers and you have the tight thing and it's like this and that. And you know, you can't do this. You can't. And it's not the truth. You know, Billy Graham, I've read a lot about him. I've read a lot about his life. I've listened to probably every sermon he's ever given, and just an amazing individual, and someone as well that I look up to, because he really did. He devoted his life, like you just said, he devoted his life to what he believed in his heart and soul was right. And he was on the road all the time. That man hardly ever came home.
Yeah. And how many books do you read where you're like, and then I went to a Billy Graham revival.
That's
and
right,
It changed my life. Over and over again, I read that in biographies. It's just remarkable. One of the things I believe, and as a punk rock guy, you'll get some kind of a punk rock kid myself from my youth and everything, that whole DIY attitude. Here's what I love about America. Almost everybody can just simply outwork their problems. And then they'll meet people that recognize their talent, their hard work, and they'll invest their time and money into them. Almost everybody. I watched a piece on 60 Minutes where they're getting kids with autism jobs, high-end jobs, analyzing astrophysics and shit,
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in other countries.
That's right.
Am I crazy for thinking that you can literally outwork like nearly every problem, and you'll get help along the way if you just put your nose down and get after it and just be damned if you're going to be damned by that?
Yeah, that first step is most important. I think one of the problems a lot of people get is they get stuck in their own mind. And it's easy to do that is to just put yourself in a bubble. And I think social media has a lot to do with that too, where you're stuck in this bubble and you have all these thoughts, you have all these things, and you want to do this, you want to do that, you think you can do this, but you never do those things. It just lives inside your head. When you put that all away and you connect to the universe and you stop relying on, again, that what you think is all these things, and you just take that leap of faith, if you will, and just go out and do something. That's when magic starts happening, and you come across other people, or one opportunity leads to another. A door might open, a door might close, but if you just remain faithful to it, whatever it is, and just keep going, and just keep going. And that's another thing that's so important, that is that you're, again, like I said, you're always learning. Even when you fail, failure is just another opportunity to learn about how to get better at things. You have to fail. You have to go through the hard times to be able to blossom. There's a great, there was a sermon about a seed, right? You can put a seed on your desk or hold it in your hand for all of eternity, and nothing will happen to that seed. The seed just stays there. It's just a seed. But when you put it in the dirt and you cover it up, not the most comfortable place to be. It's cold, it's dark, and you put it in the dirt, and then you allow what's inside that seed, what it's truly meant to be, to then blossom and become this tree, or to become this flower or something. And the only way to do that is to add that adversity to that seed by putting it in the dirt and pushing it down, and putting it in the dark. And you got to take that step. You got to go through the fire.
Gotta go through the fire. Well, listen, I appreciate you hanging out on the road. Tell Art I appreciate him driving and making sure you guys take care of one another. Always great to visit with you. And thanks so much, Pete, again for what you're doing. You're making the world a better place, man.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you. And I know the work that you do, and I know what you're doing. And you're a blessing to a lot of people as well.